Hello there. This is Lady Lou. Welcome to our show. This is the Senior Estate Concierge Show, and we have a wonderful program planned for you today with our special guest, Monica Evans. She is with a hospice company, and it is such a beautiful thing. I didn't know everything that a hospice does for you. You're going to be very enlightened and know now what might be available for your loved ones or for yourself for that matter. So, welcome, Monica. How are you today?
Good morning, Lady Lou. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fine too, and so excited that you're here because I've already learned so many things just in our little chat before we came on the air.
Yes.
My mother didn't have hospice, and we didn't know enough about it. But this has been about like 12, 14 years ago anyway, and
hmm
maybe it wasn't quite as good as it is now. But hospice has such a beautiful array of services for the
Yes,
people who need it, the
it does.
seniors, and the children of seniors need to know about this. So I'm
Yes.
hoping a lot of them are watching too. So
Yes.
our show today is about the difference between palliative care and hospice, and they are different, but they are the same in a lot of ways. So, Monica, how about you give us a little explanation of the difference in the two?
Okay. So, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on the program.
You're
My job is to educate the community, seniors and their families, about some of the benefits that they have, some of the resources that they have when they have a loved one who is suffering from a life limiting or a chronic illness that may result in death. So, the first thing is to say what they have in common. Palliative and hospice care all operate under an umbrella that provides comfort care to someone who's suffering from a life limiting or a chronic illness. Now, the life limiting part is kind of terminology in hospice land. Most people would say a terminal illness, but the definition regarding hospice is just someone who has an illness that, if it follows its normal course, may result in death within the next 6 months. Now, under that same umbrella, hospice and palliative are comfort care for that person, that patient. That could include things like music therapy, pet therapy, mental counseling, mental health counseling, massage, up to doctor's care and coverages like chemotherapy and radiation. The big difference between the two is that when you are a palliative patient, you can pursue curative measures for any of the diseases or illnesses that you suffer from. If you are a hospice patient, the diagnosis that qualifies you for hospice care cannot include any curative measures.
Oh,
So, for instance, let's say grandma has congestive heart failure and cancer. The diagnosis that we would include as a hospice team would be the congestive heart failure. It is incurable. Probably she's not going to, completely, she's not going to recover from it. Because she's got cancer, though, we want her to be able to seek comfort and curative measures if she wants to. So
oh,
we diagnose the congestive heart failure as her hospice diagnosis. She's going to have care for her cancer. All of that falls under an umbrella that's going to include things like a visit from a nurse practitioner or an RN each week, an aide that's going to come 3 times a week to 5 times a week based on your individual case, that's going to help with personal hygiene and washing your hair and clipping your nails, things like that. There's a social services social worker, registered social worker, helps you with things like community resources. If there's Meals on Wheels, or if you need food stamps, or if you need a visiting volunteer to read, to you. those kinds of resources in the community that social worker can help with. And then there's a chaplain that's going to help with spiritual counseling. And in this environment, that doesn't have to mean a spiritual counselor. It's somebody to talk to. A lot of our seniors are sick and shut in. They're depressed. They just need some socialization. They just need to be able to talk to someone. And so all of that falls under comfort care. And that's what you would receive with either of those. But with a diagnosis like that, you'd have that whole realm of care to include things like, detailed nurse visits and some sort of help to just have a quality of life. That's what we want to do ultimately, is make sure that you're experiencing the highest level of quality of life that we can provide.
Oh, that is just so perfect, because so many of these patients are shut in. They don't have a way to get out. Even just stepping outside into the sunshine would be a pleasure for them. Exactly. And a social worker could do that for them.
They can, the aide would do that. If they were able, they would take them outside, sit with them. The social worker could provide outreach in the community. Sometimes there are social services and churches that offer volunteer services. The hospice company has 5% of our service has to include volunteer work. So we have volunteers that go out to our patients and they read to them or sing to them or help them go outside, call their loved ones on the phone. You'd be surprised how many people have very little access. If they're Parkinson's patients, for instance, sometimes their hands won't allow them to use the phone.
That's
so
true.
They need help doing that. So it's a myriad of services that we seek to provide so that we can improve the quality of life. And just like you were saying with your mom, the services have been available. They're a part of your Medicare benefits, 100% paid for by Medicare. They've been there. That's the big, you don't have to pay any out of pocket. And a lot of times people think that you have to be so sick or dying. You don't. Comfort care is something that you're provided if you are seriously ill. And then there's about 6 million people receiving palliative care in this country versus about 1.5 million people that have experienced any hospice care. And if you consider that out of, the billions of people that are alive, at some point they will die, that number is very low for the people that utilize those hospice services.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought about that, because they don't know.
They don't know.
Well, that's why this Senior Estate Concierge is such a powerful organization. And I know you're one of the members, because Bill Graff found all of this was lacking. He's the founder of Senior Estate Concierge, and he sold real estate for the elderly, because a lot of seniors need to move out of their homes and transition some way into an assisted living or a smaller place. And he saw the need for an organization that would encompass all of the things that a senior might need. And that's why he got together and started the Senior Estate Concierge. And I know you're a part of it, and you have regular meetings and everything. You can exchange ideas with the other members. Tell me what your experience has been with the Senior Estate Concierge.
The thing that stands out to me with this organization, and what you have to understand as community relations director for my hospice company, my job is to get out into the community and educate them about hospice care. But what we often run into is seniors who don't necessarily qualify for hospice, but they need something else. So what Senior Estate Concierge has provided for me is a network of the most caring, loving group of people who will reach out to that senior and provide whatever those services are. Say the person isn't old enough or isn't sick enough to be a candidate for hospice care, but they need somewhere to live, or they need assistance with meals, or, any number of things. Well, there are, all of these beautiful people in this organization who become resources for me. so that when I'm out there, I don't have to turn anybody away. I can say, wait, I've got somebody for that. And
Perfect.
that's kind of the beautiful part of being a part of this organization. It's not just a networking group of people who are like exchanging business cards and, call me if you need me. They really do reach out with just hearts bigger than you can imagine. I had a gentleman who was looking for a home for a woman for me, and there was a fee that needed to be paid. She wasn't making much in Social Security services, and he offered to pay that fee for her. I know she needs a place to stay, Monica, and I don't want that fee to be something that keeps her from doing that, so I'll pay that. I mean, just the most loving group of people with big hearts for seniors. And it's a huge resource for all of us. We can call on each other for any number of things to help the seniors in need.
Well, you know what? This is an organization that its time has come. And I know Bill has expansion plans in the future. So maybe someday in your city, if you're not in the Houston area, you will have such an organization to help you with your elders and friends and family, maybe even with yourself, because
Yeah.
a lot of seniors don't have anyone to help them. And if they can find you, Monica, or if they could find the Senior Estate Concierge, they'll have everything at their fingertips.
Right. As we grow as a networking organization, that's what I hope is that we can all, as we're doing our networking in the community, we're talking to seniors every day, most of us, about something, so we can say we're the resource.
Yes.
The seniors don't have to look necessarily for resources for themselves. If they meet one of us because they need, counseling on their Medicare insurance, or if they need somebody to cook meals for them, that person can say, hey, I've got somebody that I think can help you with that. We're in communication with these seniors. And that's kind of the other thing that I found is that, members of this organization kind of dig in. They don't just handle that one thing that the person called them about. They're trying to get to know that person in full, so that if there's another need they can fulfill by reaching out to one of us, that's going to happen. I've gotten a couple of resources from people I would never have guessed would have been resources for this benefit.
And new resources are coming in every day. I know the director, Marian LaSalle, she is always adding new members who have new services. She even told me they have lawn care for some of the seniors. I thought, well, that's a biggie. How many old ladies or old gentlemen want to go out there and mow their own grass?
Yes. Or worry about trying to find somebody to do it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's such a marvelous organization that you can just reach out to them, and they've got a website, seniorestateconcierge.com. Just go over there and poke around and see what's available. Yeah, I don't know that there's any limit to how many services you could use from them,
There's
because
not. I mean, anything that you would need as a senior, and I think it crosses all racial barriers, it crosses all economic barriers. As a senior in this country, I think that our seniors are underserved on the whole.
yes.
So having a place where they can reach out and have so many things at their fingertips is invaluable, and it's going to be needed for a long time to come.
Isn't that the truth? Wow, because it's I think if I'm not forgetting my facts and figures, because I had this in my head, there's about 74 million senior citizens, baby boomers in this case. I'm a baby boomer,
Right?
and so many of us are baby boomer. I think you have to be 53 or 54 now. You were still a baby boomer between 64 and 46. She started at age in 1946,
Wow.
after the war, and it went clear through 1964. So if you were born before 64, you're probably a baby boomer, and
Right.
I know I am. And there's a lot of us out there, and that's why the seniors need more help, because there's more of them.
Right. And, one of the things that the hospice benefit provides, I think people are very misinformed about the fact that they have to be on death's door. I recently had a woman who was recovering from chemotherapy. She wasn't a proponent of continuing with the radiation and chemotherapy. She didn't believe that that chemical interaction in her body was something she wanted to participate in. So she was tired, kind of overwhelmed. Because she's a cancer patient and she's not pursuing any curative measures, she actually qualified for hospice care. And what a lot of people don't understand about hospice care is that you can graduate from it. So she was on hospice service for 6 months until she got her strength back and could operate on her own. But in the interim, she had a nurse visiting her once a week. She had an aide coming every other day to help with whatever, cleaning up, light housekeeping, personal hygiene. She had that social worker at her beck and call. I mean, if she needed something, that person is there. And then, she was a little isolated in that recovery. So she had that spiritual counseling from the chaplain. Well, 6 months in, she was recovered to the point that she felt strong enough to move forward with her life, pursue some other curative measures. I think holistic was where she was going, but all of that to say that she graduated from hospice care and is now just living her life.
Wow.
It happens that it is a beautiful way to kind of get that leg up for someone. Or in the situation like we had with my mom, she has dementia that she's late stage, it's 7 or 8 years, had a stroke in August. So now she's bedbound and we can't take care of her at home anymore. That is absolutely how I got involved in this whole arena. The hospice gentleman came to sign us up. It was supposed to be a 20-minute conversation, and 2.5 hours later, I was so overwhelmed by the services and the help and the support for the family members that I almost couldn't contain myself. And he said, "You know what? You need to come and work for me." And I said, "Keith, I have a job." And he was like, "Yeah, but you got to come. Can you come part-time?" Well, I did that for a month. And after a month, he asked me to come work full-time. And I said yes with no hesitation. It's just been a beautiful, passionate, rewarding experience to be able to share what hospice and palliative care benefits can do for the family. That person who is the patient is being cared for by a doctor, and there's care workers calling that person to make sure they're okay, but that family needs to be uplifted. That family needs to be supported. And in most cases, you're going to get some support and some really very much needed support on either end, on palliative care or hospice. But what I've found, I think, is that palliative tends to cater more to the patient, whereas the hospice care benefit envelops the whole family. And that's something I'm so blessed to be able to impart to everyone.
I don't know, because when my mother was going downhill, she came to live with me for 6 months, recovering from some surgery. And I was so exhausted, I didn't know what to do. I had no life. I finally, my brother and sister who lived nearby in Houston would come for an hour or two on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's all the help I got.
That's not enough.
I finally said, look, I can't do it anymore. I was running out of money because I didn't have a big income. I wasn't working, of course. And I kept having overdrafts. I can't keep doing this. I need some help. So finally they came through for me, and they would come and stay with or at that point she was able to go and stay with them for the day. And then that would give me a whole day of just being me.
Wow.
It's so huge when the family's there to help.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't understand because I didn't tell them I needed help until I was exhausted. I waited too long.
And that is so the case with most families. With most families, there's one kid who's got a family and a job, and all they can do is come at the end of the day and try to help grandma or help mom and dad. There's that one person, even if there's 5 children,
I know,
that will take that responsibility on, and it is massive. Yes. And the problem with that, the biggest problem with that, is that we can love our moms and dads as much as we want, but there's a missing clinical component. If you're a hospice patient, there's a nurse coming. So, as much love and care as we can give, if they're in some distress that only a trained clinical person can see, we're missing that. We're not giving our loved ones the best care. And the fact that care comes at no cost is massive.
Oh,
So it's just a matter of knowing that you have access to it. So
yes.
it's a big issue, providing education to families so that they know that that's something that can help. I mean, imagine the help that you'd have had if you had a nurse coming and saying, "Hey, mom's good if you let her alone over there for a little while and you go take a nap," or "I'll be here to give her that medication," or she's deficient on some vitamins here. Her blood pressure's low. Let me get that. There's so much that you can't do. All you can do is kind of the physical work, which is also really hard. But there's that missing clinical element that's so important when you're taking care of seniors. And it's provided here in this benefit for no cost. So I think it's just so important for people to understand that it's a benefit. It doesn't mean that, God is the only one that's going to be able to say when it's time for mom or dad to leave this earth. But you can certainly improve the quality of their life and yours with some help. It's here. It's out here.
Right. Well, this is one of the reasons we always ask the people who are watching our program to please share it, because all of us know people who have seniors in their lives, or they may be the senior. So share this program, share all of the Senior Estate Concierge shows. Somebody out there needs this information. And it's so handy. It's right there if they knew about it. See, we didn't know any of this when my mother was going downhill. Didn't know any of it.
And you're not alone. You're not alone. And I think that in so many of the areas where we, because think about it. The seniors that need this help probably don't have computers.
Right.
If they have a computer, they're too sick to get to it, or they're too tired. So it takes the children or the neighbor or somebody who cares about them to say, "Hey, let me find out about this stuff," because I know we all know somebody who's a senior that may be living alone. People that live in apartments, a lot of these people don't want their kids to know they're sick. They don't want to be a burden. So they don't tell their daughter that they're having pain, and they don't tell their son that they fell. But the doctor knows, the doctor knows they've been here a couple of times because they fell and we had to, the bruises or we had to give a ankle wrap because they fell and sprained their ankles, but they're not telling their families.
No.
They're telling their neighbors, though. They're telling their friends. So if you know somebody that needs the benefit, it's just a matter of a phone call. We can go over the eligibility fairly quickly. Doesn't cost $1. And you may be able to literally save someone's life.
Exactly.
The caregivers and the seniors at large, because that's a big job for the family. There's no way to explain that to someone who hasn't experienced it, but it's a huge job. So embracing those families with care and comfort, that's the job.
Right. And just know that at the bottom of the screen, it's not scrolling right now, but there is a phone number down there for your company that will get them to you so that there it is. There's the phone number.
281-394-2042.
Right. Call that number and ask about the services. They're there for the asking, so to speak, because they're free through your Medicare. Take advantage of them. You don't know who's, like, if the next door neighbor has been having a tough time and they're a senior, ask them if they would like for you to help them get some services there. They'd probably say yes. I would hope they would. Because they know they need help, but they're too proud to ask. That's one of those things about seniors. We're too proud to ask. But that's the only way we get things, if we ask.
That's right. And one thing, to note, I have a client that I'm going to go see today. And the biggest thing we're going to help her with is supplies. Her mom's incontinent. She's wearing, Pampers every day. There's the pad that you put on the bed so that you don't mess up the linen. She is literally spending hundreds of dollars a week she and her family are scrambling trying to just afford the diapers.
Oh,
And when you're on hospice care, your supplies are included. Those are free. The medications that you're supposed to give or get as a senior are delivered to you every 2 weeks or whenever they're supposed to be renewed, but they're brought to you. So you don't have to worry about going out to the doctor to try to get it, or go to the Walgreens, or have your daughter or son go pick it up. All of those things are provided at no cost. If there's a wheelchair or a walker or a shower chair that you need to, again, improve the quality of life, those things are provided at no additional charge. So, it could be a myriad of things that you need, but if it's as simple as someone to pay for the Pampers, and you've got a mom that's got congestive heart failure, she qualifies for hospice services. I mean, it's that easy.
So it's very easy just to call that number and tell them what you're facing, what your parents are facing, or a loved one, any loved one, or a neighbor, because you can do this for a neighbor. You don't have to be a relative, do you?
Exactly. Anybody. You don't have to be related. I mean, the service is available to anybody that needs it. And again, we're here 24/7. You just call that number. The office is going to route that call to either me or my other partner who's on the north side of Houston. One of us will make an appointment to come and talk to you and see if you're eligible. It's really easy. There's no out of pocket. There's no effort on your behalf. And hospice comes where you are. It'll come to your home. It'll come to your nursing home. It'll come to your daughter's house. Wherever you are, that's where we'll come. And that service is being provided to you even if you move from that place. It follows you wherever you go. So
tell us the name of your company.
We are Medcore Preferred Hospice. And I am Monica Evans, the Community Relations Director.
There you go. I mean, this is big, Monica, big.
It is so much. And it's such a needed thing that not enough people know about. When we were in the hospital, they said that only 40% of people take advantage of that benefit. And that's criminal when it's free.
Well, there's got to be a community education system, but even at that point, how many of seniors are out there to find it? They're stuck in their home probably.
Exactly. And that's my job. So I go out and visit, communities, over 55 apartment complexes, personal care homes, assisted living. They have civic clubs, churches, anybody, because again, if you have someone who's sick and shut in, they're not going to get this information, but you can take it to them, so we just have to get out there and tell the world, tell anybody that because it's just a phone call.
Exactly right. Oh my gosh. There is just, the world is wide open for people who need this help, and it's available and it's free. There's just nothing better than that word free.
That's right.
Of course, it's not free in the long run because we paid for it with our taxes all through the years.
Exactly, but it's
we deserve it.
Yes, exactly. That's a benefit that you're entitled to because you worked and paid into the system.
That's right.
Why not take advantage of it, even if it's for a short time?
Right.
At the beginning of when my mom got sick, I didn't know that people left hospice care. I thought you're there and that's it. But the fact is that you can elect to leave, or you get so well that you don't qualify anymore. So they say, okay, little birdie, go and live.
Go do what you do best, because there are seniors in this world who are not ready to call it quits. We still want to go. That's at 70. I'll be 77 next month. I'm still going strong. I don't have any clue about giving up.
That's right. And that's the misconception, is that you've just given up on your life and you're ready to lay down and die. And that's just not the case.
No, keep on going. God gave us a good life and let's make the best of it. But if we need help in the meantime, there you go. You've got Medcore and Monica Evans.
That's right. Right here at your service, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That is so beautiful. Well, thank you, Monica. This has been wonderful information.
Thank you so much. I've so enjoyed not only this outlet, but again, the fact that this is here because of Senior Estate Concierge. It's just another indication that they are one of the warmest, most heartfelt organizations for the support of seniors that you could ever find. So I'm privileged to be a part of first of all, to be a part of the group. But just I was so pleased when Marion came to me and asked me to do this show. Thank you so much for asking.
Well, you're very welcome. We certainly appreciate you being here and taking time away from your busy day, because I know you've got the rest of the day scheduled, and
yes.
You're out there helping these folks, and
Yes,
we
ma'am.
appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll see you folks next time. And be sure and share this video. There's a little share button in Facebook. There's a little share button in the YouTube channel. Everywhere that you find these things, look for that share button. You know you've got friends on your list that you could send this video to, and just call the Senior Estate Concierge. The number will be on their website, and ask them about services. They'll direct you to the certain people, and it's a wonderful service. Know that and take advantage of it. So thank you all for watching. We appreciate you so much. And thank you again, Monica, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Louise.